Welcome to an episode of Altitude Advantage. I am your host and team reporter, Elisa Hernandez. Across the table, we have our lead writer on DenverBroncos.com, Aric DiLalla, and our digital contributor, Susanna Weir, Big Suze. Our last podcast of the season, of the year. Really sad to see her go. I'm wearing my best cowboy hat because this is a roundup episode. We're going to talk about, give out some little awards. Got to tip my hat to both of you guys. We're going to pick a couple awards: best play, best moment, memorable game, and best off the field moment. So I'm really excited to hear what you guys have in your arsenal as we kind of kick off this episode. So, how to bring my best hat for this. You keep looking at the hat.
I like it. Yeah, well, now it makes sense. With the roundup, I get it now.
You're a little confused when I just walked in with a cowboy hat on?
Yeah. Well, I kind of learned to just kind of roll with it now. I'm like, who knows what Elisa's going to have prepared for the podcast.
I wore, best, little.
Oh, the nails are new.
The nails are new. The nails are blue. See, that's why I wore orange. So I'm all in theme right now.
You're ready to go.
I'm all in theme. I'm ready.
Yeah, it is.
I'm ready for this award show.
Suze, it is your last episode.
Sad.
Yeah, it is.
Do you have any thoughts?
How was it being on the podcast, Suze? How did you feel welcomed by Broncos country this season?
It was great. I'll share more thoughts at the end, I think.
Yeah,
okay.
As my farewell.
That's a tease. That's what we call a
Stay to the
tease
end,
in the
guys.
business.
That is. Well done. Well done. Hat tip.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, well, let's kick off the first award as we kind of look. Obviously, a lot of big plays this season. The Broncos had 10 wins, clinched the playoff berth, and really just had Broncos country really excited for what's to come this season. There's a lot to pick from. But, Aric, I'm going to come to you first. Who gets the award for best play of the season?
Well, I'm going to just say, I'm just going to say to start, part of the genesis for this was that we've got NFL honors coming up next week. You and I will both be down there. Suze, well, maybe you'll be down there. Who knows? Who knows where life could take you next week.
Wow.
What? It's possible. Maybe Suze will be down there on the red carpet. We'll be like, how'd Suze get that pass? And we'll be behind a rope line. But obviously, Offensive Rookie of the Year gets handed out, Defensive Player of the Year, Coach of the Year. Broncos have finalists for all three. And already this year, we've seen a lot of guys get honored for whether it's a Pro Bowl or All-Pro. Yeah. Darren Williams Good Guy Award, Demaryius Thomas Team MVP from the local media, all those things. And so we thought it'd be fun to do kind of a little mini awards show here.
Mini award show.
So what was the question?
We should have had, I feel like we should have had glitter or something on the table. I feel like this should have been a carpet. I
texted Suze to bring glitter. You see that?
There should have been a carpet just coming into the podcast studio. But okay, so with all that background, see, this is why you're our historian or researcher and all the nicknames I've given you all season, because you just kind of...
Yeah. That didn't really require much research, but...
You have to know what the awards are.
That's true.
You do have to look that up because, people are listening. They may not know what these Broncos players were nominated for. But, so come at me with your best pick for the best play of the year.
Oh. Well,
Suze, I'm going to come to you next.
Should we discuss some options? Or do you just want...
Multiple choice? I mean, I feel like...
Are we talking about, the most impressive play or, my personal favorite play?
It's
that's different.
I think your
favorite.
Personal one.
Okay.
That's why.
Yeah, Suze, you start.
No. I think you're on the spot right now and you don't know what to say. So I'm gonna let you go.
Let me enjoy this moment. It's her last time. It's her last time.
So I really wanted to choose. I really wanted to choose the third down throw in New York to Cortland Sutton. That was just kind of it had been a really tough game, and it was in the rain, and Bo Nix threw the best pass of his young career, and I was like, oh, he's got something. But that's just what I wanted to choose. I couldn't choose. It wasn't.
You can choose that.
No, it ultimately wasn't.
You.
It ultimately wasn't a big enough moment.
We listen. We don't judge.
Yeah, it says who.
It says me, and I'm the one picking it.
Okay.
Right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so then I was deciding between a Marvin Mims catch, whether it was the one against the Browns or the one against... I actually like the first one against the Bengals better than the second one.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with the Bo Nix 93-yard touchdown from to Marvin Mims. against the Browns.
Monday night action there.
Monday night, it was a great throw, terrific throw. Joe Buck's call, Marvin Mims, he's gone. It was just a cool moment. The crowd went crazy. All the replays in terms of like the fans just going crazy in the background, like the wide shots, you see everybody celebrating behind him. So I would go with Bo's throw to Marvin as kind of my, when I think back on this season, that play will stand out as like, man, that was a heck of a play.
Yeah, well, Marvin Mims, I feel like really kind of found his spot on this team, and I think after the first couple of games, he was trying to find his role, and I think he really kind of hit the ground running. And when Steve was doing his film breakdown, presented by Microsoft Surface, he mentioned just how fast Marvin Mims is, and kind of when he's in that open space, he's going to take off, and there's nothing you can really do about it. And I think that's one of the weapons that the Broncos really kind of utilized this year. And obviously, he's going to the Pro Bowl as well, so a big nod for him. And I think he just had like those explosive plays this season. So it's a good pick. I mean, I would have let you have your Jets one.
I thought I was going to go last, and so I thought we were going to like knock out some of the easy options or like some of the other ones.
So instead, he just listed them all. No, my play is actually not one that you listed.
Yeah, so. I didn't mention like the most famous play of the year, like the most viewed play of the year. I didn't even talk about that. But maybe that's not your favorite play.
What play is that?
Well, that would be the Surtain pick six.
Yeah, that's not mine. It was great. It was great.
Sue's not impressed by Pat Surtain's 100-yard pick six.
No, my play. Can I go?
Go, Suze.
My play is actually a different pick six. From Monday Night Football. J-Mac's pick six.
J-Mac's pick six. Hey.
Yes, because at that point, first of all, the game was so back and forth.
Yeah.
It was just an electric atmosphere, and at that point, the game was looking a little questionable.
We'll stress it in the press box.
The like excitement, but also like the sigh of relief, I think, when that happened. Yeah. And then, he jumped into the stands. It was electric.
Yeah.
Electric.
Also,
Boogie, woogie, woogie.
I totally, was that your electric chair?
It was just, I coughed.
I was gonna say the thing with that J-Mac play, I feel like no one also knew if he was down or not. So
I know.
Just kept running.
It was just that was like my favorite. I feel like that was my favorite moment of the season. It was just.
It's not a bad pick. Shout out to J-Mac.
That's a good
that
pick.
That is because honestly, I think I watched that a few times, and I think when it was happening, I was like, is he like? Am I excited about this? Is he down? Like, what's going on? And then it was a touchdown. And then everyone went nuts. I think, to Suze's point, seeing the crowd, especially from the press box, for those that have never been in the press box, you have a very, wide view of the stadium. So you can see the wave of people as they kind of begin to jump up. And it's pretty exciting to see that, I think, especially.
I feel like everybody was holding their breath at that point of the game. Like it was bleak. It was.
It seemed potentially bleak.
It was. So.
And J-Mac saved the day. That's true.
Yeah. So that's my play.
Good pick, Suze.
That's a good pick. Me, I gotta go with Nick Bonito's pick six against the Colts. He read that play so perfectly, and I think what made it even better for me was Pat's mic'd up after they released after the game, where he's just yelling, "Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my!" like a little kid. Like you kind of see like the.
It was a little higher pitch than that, I think.
I mean, I was trying not to do like. Oh my God. I'm just playing Pat. But yes, I think like seeing not only Nick Bonito had that moment, and obviously back-to-back pick sixes in games, but I think like seeing your teammate that hype for you in that moment, and then like literally following him all the way to the end zone. Nick kind of really had such a great season this year. Obviously, he's going to his first Pro Bowl in his career. He was my pick midseason for a Pro Bowl pick. Just saying.
She's not going to let us forget that.
No, let's not forget it. But, I mean, it's just like, welcome Casa Bonito. I mean, the way that he was able to produce this year and that pick six was so... It's like, again, that was also a game that was going either way. Obviously, you think back to that Jonathan Taylor play, but the way they were going to kind of flip this game and make big plays on defense, and then for him to be also part of the unit that had the most sacks ever in franchise history this year as well. Nick Bonito, that pick six was exciting, and you guys already know I say defense.
So no one picked a Surtain? We're kind of crazy.
Well, no, because like
I'm sorry, you didn't
you went first.
So.
I know. Well, I thought that was
you could have taken it off the board like right away.
Yeah.
I feel like that one's like everyone's pick. So I was like, you know what? Like it was cool. I do like it, but I'm like, I just feel like that Nick play was like, that was probably one of the most exciting plays because even like I talked to him after the game and I remember I said like before the ball even left Richardson's hand, like your hands were already out, like ready to receive it. And I think like when you're able to really read a play like that so perfectly and you just have nothing but green in front of you, watch yourself on Thunder Vision, like if I played, like that's what I would want.
Yeah.
I also feel like that was it was a fantastic play, but it was so early in the season that my stress level wasn't that high yet. So that Monday night game felt like it was like make or break, and so I feel like I was like holding my breath the entire time, and then.
Yeah, but say you're, say Pat doesn't pick that off, and like Brock Bowers catches that touchdown, and now you're down 17-3.
You want to change your play?
I agree with
think
you.
It's an
I agree with you.
important
I
play.
just think that my stress wasn't at that level
I
yet.
just think like I think that might have been the most important play of the season.
So why didn't you pick
So
it?
why-
Because I
Well, we went by
I went
we
first. That's why I thought I was trying to
that's
leave.
even better reason to pick it.
We went by what was our favorite, like
Yes,
personal,
yes,
not
yeah.
like.
But
I mean,
just-
if we're gonna go like the objective view of like what
Then
it
it
meant
might
for
be
the
different.
season, game changing moments, then yes, that's the play.
Yeah. Okay.
That
well,
wasn't
I'm
that wasn't
talking
the
about it. I'm
award.
just
You're
talking
in the
about
wrong
it.
category.
I
Right
came
now.
up with the category.
So then you should have picked the answer you wanted to pick.
But just, I think it's very easy for like a season to flip. And if the Raiders score there, maybe they win that game. Obviously, the Chargers come in the next week. And, could you be looking at right after you were just 2-2, could you be right back at 2-4? And it could have changed the whole tenor of the season. And so I think because it was early in the season, like you said, Suze, we've kind of, or me personally, been like, oh, that was a cool play. And we've just kind of forgotten the impact that it had on the season. But like, man, things could have turned out really differently if Pat didn't make that play. Part of the reason why he should win Defensive Player of the Year.
Say that louder for the people in the back. Well, the next category is best and most memorable game, which I think we know what yours is.
I'm going to go last.
No, I think you should go
No,
first.
Suze, go first. I went first the last one. We'll each go first for one of them.
All right, best most memorable game for you, Suze.
I mean, I feel like this is like a cop-out answer, but I gotta go back to the Monday Night Football game. It was
prime time. It's a good game.
Yes. It was prime time at home. They were in those nice uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
It was like people were calling it the best game of the whole season.
Those are the midnight uniforms, right? With the snow white helmet.
Yeah.
Those are nice.
You went online after, and everyone was like, "This was the best game of the whole
Spazzing
year."
out, yeah.
You went on the internet after? The internet was saying it?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Why'd you say the internet?
Yeah, why-
I was just asking. Well, I was clarifying.
Yeah. Everybody was saying it. It was entertaining.
True. It's prime time.
It was a
What
season-changing game. I don't know. That's my pick.
It's a good pick.
A lot of big plays. Yeah, debut of the uniform, like you said.
It's a nice
A lot
that
of
a
turnovers.
3-game winning streak at that point?
I mean, like
No,
there was
I
a
know.
lot both ways. There was a lot of back and forth.
Exciting moments.
What'd you say?
3-game winning streak at that point, right?
Yes. Yeah, and
I
right
believe
before the
so.
bye week
Going
too.
to the bye week at 8-5, right in the thick of the playoff hunt.
Oof.
Plus, like the alternative is if you lose that game, you've just lost to a 2-win team, and you're now
Right.
Which
those
7-6.
Those 2 wins that they had at that point were not unimpressive.
right. They still only had 2.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like they were kind of like on a hot streak.
Yeah, they were.
like-
They just beaten Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah.
They'd beaten Baltimore a couple weeks before. Jameis. That game might be up there just because he delivered the best post-game quote I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Which is, may the Lord deliver me from pick sixes. That is tremendous. That is a great quote. So, yeah, good. If we were doing a post-game quote, Suze, you posted, we do a nice little segment on our site, Mile High Morning, if fans haven't seen that. And there's currently, today's is about Bo Nix and Pat Surtain being up for these NFL on Fox awards that you can vote for. And one of the categories is best personality.
I think it was like most viral moment or some person.
And Jameis was all 5 finalist spots.
Yeah. I think it was most viral moment,
It was
and
all
like
Jameis.
it was all him.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Wow.
Content machine.
Concept machine. That's a good one. I mean, talk about personality. I mean, there's a lot of guys on the team that have good personalities, I think, on the Broncos. So I feel like we can't just pick one guy. But at least can you?
Not without being prepared, since obviously we were really prepared for this segment. I wouldn't want to
You
seem
stay
unprepared.
ready so you don't got to get ready.
The best person. I'm a big I think John Franklin Myers has a really good personality. He's locked in. DJ Jones too. Like the defensive linemen they've got good personalities.
Yeah. I was gonna go Jonathan Cooper won the Good Guy Award as well this year. He has a really good personality. I feel like he's two different guys on the field. Like he's fierce, intense, and then in the locker room.
What sort of faces does he make on the field?
I don't think I can replicate those faces.
Susie,
I need eye black.
I
need eye black on my face.
I have a picture of Suze making a similar face.
That is false.
Not the receipt.
Should we put it up on the YouTube?
All right, what's the next question?
All right,
we're still on the same question.
We're still on best, most memorable game. For me, it is the road game in Tampa Bay. Yeah, that's I think for us, that was the first win of the season. Going on the road, it was my first road game, and it was so hot down there. And it was a game where, again, you can easily go down to being, starting the season 0-3. You're going against, at the time, the undefeated Bucks, who also went in the playoffs. And everyone really counted the Broncos out, I feel, in that game. Baker Mayfield was playing at a really high level the first two games of the season. You were obviously going against a rookie quarterback. And the way that they were able to just dominate that game, explosive plays, Brandon Jones had a pick. Obviously, Alex Singleton's playing that game, which ended up leading, unfortunately, to his season being, ending. But the way that he was really able to just rally that entire game, throw off Baker any way possible. And then after the game, I realized how famous Aric was. And we did our post-game analysis. And people were screaming his name from the stand. They're like, Aric. And I'm like, oh my God.
I also realized how famous he was in Tampa when somebody approached him in the hotel lobby and said, wow, I love your content. I follow everything you write and everything you say. And I was standing, and he had just been saying moments earlier that sometimes that happened, and I didn't really believe him.
Me neither.
And then it happened, and I was like, wow,
I agree.
He wasn't lying.
I can agree. I can attest to that because I also thought he was lying, and then we're on the field, and they were just like, Aric, they didn't know who I was. They were just like, that's the girl that helps you because you're the star. I was just like, he is. You're the star.
Well, the people that watch and listen famous. And read, I appreciate you a lot more than I appreciate both of these two here. So,
that's a crazy
take. I just made you my most memorable moment, and that's how you treat me. But
it was kind of like a blast of a memorable moment. It was kind of like, let's ridicule Aric here for a minute and a half.
We just said that you were famous because you are, and no, that was my favorite game. It was the first win. I got to see what Club Dub was, which was exciting. And I kind of just kicked off everything. And you had mentioned it that me and Suze got here, and then look, winning season.
That's true.
So true. It was the beginning of an amazing season for the Broncos.
So hopefully, Suze might need to call you back in for 2025 if
tag me in, Coach.
If things start poorly. Be ready. Be around.
Hey.
Be around.
I'll be on call.
All right. Your turn.
Thank you. I'd like to go back to a critical game against the Atlanta Falcons. No, I'm just messing with Suze here. You can see her face. She's like incredulous here. She's incredulous. No, that was a nice win, but not my most memorable of the year. Listen, this is a hard question, and I think there's several games that we could have talked about here. Despite the loss, the Cincinnati Bengals game, I think, was a thriller. It proved to me that Bo Nix could go back and forth with one of the top quarterbacks in the entire NFL. I think there's something to be said about beating the Raiders at home and snapping that streak. I think there is something to be said about going and winning in Vegas at Allegiant for the first time.
Yeah.
Certainly there were a lot of other moments, whether it's going to New Orleans and Sean Payton's return there and getting a big win that was never in doubt. Like,
a lot of good storylines this year.
There were a lot of moments that sometimes, and listen, this happens when I realize I say listen a lot.
Listen.
Maybe it's just don't. Now they're.
It's her last show. I'm a miss Suze, okay?
So listen or not, whatever. In the tough seasons, a lot of these games just kind of blur together and you don't remember a lot of them. Like I think back to 2017 or 18 or 2020, some of these games just blend together and you're like, where was that game or what happened in that one? When you win, it becomes a lot easier, obviously, to to remember, like, here's what happened in Tampa, or this is what happened against, Cleveland or Indy. And obviously they were exciting games. So that's part of it too.
He's really making us wait to hear what his pick is.
Yeah. Or I don't want to make week 17 in Cincinnati feel left out or like we don't care about it, you know?
I understand.
I'm going to go with the Jets game.
He was also called from the stands in that game. People waited in the rain.
Is that why it's your
just
pick?
to say hi to you?
No.
I have it on camera.
That game was like, I went to a Big Ten school. When you watch Big Ten football, you're watching like 7 to 6 games, and the weather's gross, and they punt a lot, and it's just like these defensive battles, and it felt like watching one of those games. We have a adoring fan, Brandon from Iowa. He knows what we're talking about here with the Big Ten football. Brandon, if you're listening, chime in. We know you know what you're talking about with the Iowa Hawkeyes. But that game, it was just like the epitome of the toughness and grit and resilience that they showed throughout the years. The photos after the game were incredible because of the rain. We spent the whole week before in West Virginia at the Greenbrier, and
Suze is there.
Suze was there. We were all there.
How was your Greenbrier experience?
I listed that as my top moment of the
Whoa. Was that a spoiler for the next category?
No, the time that we discussed our 2024 top moments and you gave us the options,
that's right.
the
You
road
did
trip
pick
to
the
Tampa and New York with the Greenbrier in between was my top moment.
Nice.
Life is, you know it.
But like you're playing Aaron Rodgers, and there were just a bunch of memorable plays between like the PJ Locke sack of Rodgers.
Justin Sternad.
Yeah, he had the big sack. And then Bo, like, listen, everything was a grind at that point as a rookie when you're first getting into the league, and it wasn't going well. And then he comes out in the second half, like I mentioned earlier, who's that big throw to Cortland Sutton in the middle of the field on 3rd and long, and then throws his first touchdown pass, and that's enough. And there was like this relief and belief after, I didn't mean to rhyme there, but it was kind of nice, after that game of like, hey, we're back at 2-2, and we can do anything now. Like, we can go on a run here. And had they lost either of those games in Tampa or New York, and you're at 1-3, you're just still in such a big hole that I wonder, again, it was like the Surtain thing earlier, I wonder how it plays out. But the fact that they went on that road trip and won both of them, and it was just this physical, gross, gritty football game, I thought it was pretty awesome. And then Suze thought I was going to say the Week 18 game against the Chiefs.
I have no comment.
That was
I didn't think you were going to say that. I thought you might say it just to mess with me, but you instead said the Falcons just to mess with me.
No comment. So that's my answer.
That's a good answer. I think, it's funny we're picking those games earlier on in the season because we also didn't know how good of a run the Broncos were going to have. But I think with those two games, we realized the potential of the run that they could have. And obviously they went and capitalized on that with 10 wins. And there were a lot of off-the-field moments that we also liked this season. I think it's my turn to go first.
That tracks.
Right? That tracks? All right. So my best off-the-field moment. When you say off-the-field, though, is it like...
Just not gameplay related.
Okay, but it could be happening during game day.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, so my pick still works. All right, so my favorite off-the-field moment was the jersey swap between Champ Bailey and Pat Surtain. Champ Bailey was my favorite player growing up. He was the first Broncos jersey that I ever got, and I got it.
That started the team store...
Addiction? Yeah.
I wasn't going to call it that, but yeah, we can...
I mean, it's not a problem, you know. I like to shop.
Yeah, of course.
My favorite store is a team store. What can I say?
Store's the team store.
I'm just saying.
They should print that out on like a little poster and hang it up somewhere.
You should talk to Zoe about that.
Yeah.
So that was my favorite moment because Champ Bailey and him and his brother Boss Bailey, like just like that tandem, I really enjoyed watching them, you know, growing up and when I was learning about football and things like that, like just the way that he played, obviously Hall of Famer. I always kind of viewed him very highly. And so to watch him kind of give that nod to Pat, and I know he's done it in the past, but like just that jersey swap I thought was really cool. Like, especially was during, alumni weekend. It was, I believe it was a throwback game. So kind of getting that throwback feel.
It happened right before a play that none of us thought was a top 3 play of the season, apparently.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. I remember I talked to him after the game and I said, like, yes, it's one thing to get a play like that, but what does it mean, like, to do that in front of, like, when Champ Bailey's in attendance? He's like, oh, that's what you want to do. Like, when you meet guys of that caliber, you want to go out and play at a high level, and so being able to get a play like that during alumni weekend when all the legends that, have created the dynasty that is here with the Broncos organization are watching you, kind of showing like, look, the franchise is in good hands, and I think that was one of my favorite moments. Obviously, I like anytime that alumni come back, but, Champ Bailey returning jersey swap with Pat, I think is awesome, and Champ's my favorite player. So.
Do you ever
I have a Champ Bailey shirt too.
Do you think, I know you
I bought
do.
it at the team store.
Do you think about the fact that, like, we're covering Pat right now, and in 25 years, people are probably going to look at Pat the same way we look at Champ now?
I did once that happened. Because obviously, yes, like Pat has been has been in the league, 4 years now, just signed that contract extension with the Broncos. And obviously, like, when you see a guy like that, you know, like, wow, he hasn't even hit, like, his full potential. And look at what he's been able to do. And it also makes me feel old because I'm like, damn. If these young kids going to be like,
if Pat wins Defensive Player of the Year, you're talking about 2 All-Pros and a Defensive Player of the Year in his first 4 year. Champ never won Defensive Player of the Year for all the great things he probably should have. The year he had 10 picks, but
a whole other podcast.
But like, Pat is, and a lot of work to do, but Pat's like on pace to be a first ballot type guy, which is just wild to be around that. And when you're in it day to day and you're talking to him at the podium, I'm not always like, oh, it's Pat Surtain. He's potentially the greatest defensive player in the world right now. And then you step back and you're like, man, there's a lot of people growing up right now. Like, if you're a 10, 11-year-old kid, like,
your game after.
You're watching Pat, and so.
But I think when you have a guy like that, and then you give a nod to what Champ Bailey was for the young kids that are looking up to Pat and maybe haven't seen, play on Champ Bailey, you're gonna go look at that too. So I like when the two worlds combine. I like when the greats of the past and the greats of the future are kind of meet up. Like, I like moments like that. So that was my favorite. And
nice.
Yeah,
Suze?
Champ's awesome.
No, you go.
I went second the last time. You haven't gone second yet.
I don't think that's true. I went second the first round.
I wish we could check the tape.
No,
but
I think she's right. Ugh.
And you're right.
Well,
I haven't gone last yet.
Okay.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go with Bo Nix running around the field, high-fiving all the fans after Week 18, beating the Chiefs, clinching the playoffs for the first time in 8-9 years. That was a special moment, and I almost picked that game as like the best game of the year just because of, I know it was against backups and everything, but of what it meant, and it was this cherry on top of the season, and that was a really cool moment. And also to me, like, being quarterback is so much more than just throwing touchdowns and leading important drives. Like, you've got to embrace, I think, to some degree, being the face of the franchise. Yeah. And like, that to me was like,
embrace the fans.
Like, Bo gets it in terms of what it takes and what this town wants from its quarterback. And he did say that he needed to do a little more cardio because it was a longer run than he expected.
Well, shout out to our social team, Dez in particular. She was chasing him with the phone so that Broncos country could get that content of him running.
Our guy Ike did not make it the whole way. Too long for Ike too. So maybe Ike can hit the cardio as well. But yeah, that was in the throwbacks. That was a cool moment, and for me, it was like, hey, this is like a nice little moment after 9 seasons, right?
You've grinded it out too, so I feel like that was a big moment for you. Like,
that was
did you
a fun
feel
moment.
like?
Yeah, there's like it's like cathartic. There's a weight off your shoulders of like, hey, they did it, and obviously there's a lot more to do, but it was a big step to get to the postseason. Anybody that was like, oh, they should lose this game they're not going to win the Super Bowl anyway. They should lose this game to
crazy.
Yeah, insane, Suze?
Crazy.
Well, there's a
Are
reason.
you prepared to go?
Yeah, there's a reason I wanted to go last.
Oh, she's going to say something about this podcast now, isn't she?
Of course I am. Except you bullied me this entire episode, so it made me almost change my answer. But that's no different than getting bullied the rest of the season too. So
there's been no bullying, to be clear.
What? No, what was it called at first? Hazing?
No,
Somebody called it that.
It's also not that.
That was the first few episodes. That's what it was called. No,
Susan's like, I'm going to get Aric kicked out of here for a hazing allegation, and then she'll be hosting next week.
Perhaps. No. I'm just joking. No.
I was wearing the cowboy hat, shooting pistols off. I see you.
Anyway.
All right, Sue, say your nice thing.
It's really making me not want to. No, my favorite off the field moment was getting to do this podcast with you guys and getting to cover the team, highs and lows of the season, week in, week out, through the good moments, the bad moments, the bullying, through all of it. My favorite moment has been doing this. So.
Thanks,
I will
Suze.
say,
that was nice.
Hey, the commenters really enjoyed Suze.
Our viewership's going to drop dramatically.
Probably.
Yeah, I know. So make sure you guys leave all your comments for Suze, so when she comes back and rewatches this, when she's missing us, she can read all the nice things you guys are saying about her. Because
Do you remember the episode when her mic didn't work and we had to just like pretend like she wasn't in the episode?
I said a lot of good things that day, too.
you did, yeah.
You're on a roll. People
I
will never
know.
know. You were talking about like all the different disguises defensively that people were running, and
It was awesome.
I was learning
sad.
a lot.
It was sad. It was sad. The mic just.
They just had to cut me out. Yeah.
But
Also,
that's. Yeah.
Riley Odom's going into the Ring of Fame was cool too. Just throwing that out there. He was really emotional. Not as emotional as Suze just now, but pretty close.
That was a good moment. I look. I appreciate all the commenters as well because they had Big Suze. I can't get over like the nicknames they gave you. See, I gave you nicknames, but then I said one of them like a couple of weeks ago, and it was just weird. So that's why I'm not gonna repeat it. You can say it.
I don't even remember.
It's the.
I walk out of the studio and I'm just on to whatever's next. I'll remember you and miss you, Suze.
I was gonna say.
I was gonna say like, damn, on to the next.
Hey.
I know. You know what? Just for that, do we have any comments from the past pod we did? Just as
I don't know. You guys would need to talk for a second about something.
about something. All right, let's talk about how Aric was bullying you, Austin. Just kidding.
This is true.
There was no bullying. I will say, one of the things about just these awards that we had, let us know in the comments what you guys think your best play was, best memorable game, and obviously best off the field moment that you guys had from this season. I think one of the honorable mentions also Cortland Sutton reaching 1,000 yards this season. I think that was a big thing in his career. I think seeing that and Court is just a guy that kind of works really hard and is getting his first playoff appearance as well. And one of my favorite quotes that he said was, it felt nice to come in on Monday and the season was still going. And like, that was a new feeling for me. And I was talking to my friends around the league and they're packing up and, they're having their exit interviews. And I'm like, I'm still playing, So I think that gives added motivation. All these guys that had their first playoff appearances, I told Pat Surtain, like, you're playoff Pat. And we only got a sneak peek of what that looked like. So, Suze, you're going to, looking ahead to next year, you're going to be watching the games, still rooting for us?
Yeah, of course. Broncos fan for life.
Hey.
How can I not be?
We'd love to hear.
There were no good comments.
Oh.
None?
Sorry for that delay. No,
I was going to say, Elisa really bought you a lot of time there.
that's true.
All right. Well, do better, guys. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, we appreciate all the comments you guys have given all year as we had a podcast name change 1 week in.
It's true. People forget that. You sometimes forget that.
I do, actually. I think for the first 3 weeks, I kept calling it the old name, and Aric was just looking at me like,
Redacted.
it's like, look, you're not saying it right. I'm like, all right. I'm sorry.
We'll keep podcasting though. Suze is moving to a better place, but we'll continue to podcast.
That makes it sound like I'm dying.
I
Right,
feel like
Suze, way to bring the mood down.
Eric's like, you're dead to me, basically, is what he's saying
No,
once
I'm
you
not.
leave. All right, we're getting off the rails here.
Wrap it up.
But look, we're very excited, obviously, for Super Bowl week coming up. NFL Honors is February 6th. We have a lot of finalists. Like you said, we have Pat Surtain, Defensive Player of the Year, Bo Nix, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Sean Payton, Head Coach Sean Payton, for Head Coach of the Year, and Alex Singleton as a nominee for the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year. So a lot of guys nominated. Should be fun down in New Orleans. Suze, we will miss you down there.
Yeah, Suze, if there was a moment of sincerity, if there's an award for best intern, best teammate, you would win it. You've been a terrific asset to us, and we will miss you dearly.
Thanks. That was a nice nicest thing you've ever said.
I agree, Suze. And I think for me, giving you a sentimental moment as well, I am very proud the way you have found your voice on the podcast, because I remember when you first came on, she didn't want to talk very much.
Oh, it's because Aric wouldn't let me.
Didn't even know how to use the mic.
That's right. You did talk for more than 4 seconds, so the mic can cut to you.
That's true.
But I think, seeing you get more comfortable and seeing you find your voice on this podcast, I'm very happy about that, because you do have a lot to say. And I remember one of my favorite comments was, Sue seems like she really knows what she's talking about, and she's really smart. I wish she would talk more. And then you did.
Thank you to the
true.
listeners.
Yes, thanks to the listeners. And just know you always have an audience here with Broncos Country, and we are going to miss you.
Thanks. I'll miss you guys too.
Cry.
Eric's not on camera because he's crying. All right, so we're going to wrap it up here on this episode of Altitude Advantage. Again, I am your host and team reporter, Elisa Hernandez, with the roundup here. And across the table, we have our researcher. We have you have so many nicknames that I gave you. This is the scientist, the mathematician. You had a couple. The corduroy, I'm not going to finish that. That was the comment. You were the corduroy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying the last
part. Quarter
word,
zip, yeah. That's true.
I'm not finishing that nickname though. And my favorite was, I think it was, what was mine? It was like the Team Store merch, something goddess. I don't know. I heard goddess and I was like, I agree. And then we have our digital marketer, Susanna Weir, who is leaving us, going on to do amazing things. So make sure you guys continue to follow her on Twitter.
Oh, wow.
I'm plugging you,
Wow.
Sus. What's your Twitter account?
Who knows?
I think it's my name with an underscore in the middle, perhaps.
There you go.
Okay.
It's a mystery, guys.
That'll drive traffic.
Finder, we will miss you, but we will be here again all off season. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of work to put in before we get ready for next season. We will be in New Orleans. I'm getting tongue tied here, getting emotional, getting choked up about Sue's leaving. But again, I'm your team reporter, and we will see you down in New Orleans. Really excited, and make sure you guys comment all the awards, and make sure you guys tune in to see hopefully our guys win.